Welcome to How to Share, a podcast that celebrates the art of teaching, learning, giving, and growing. I'm Wynne Leon, and in this episode, I'm with hydrogeologist and Mariners fan, Glenn Mutti-Driscoll. Glenn caught a ball at a Mariners game in September, but it wasn't just any ball. It was Cal Raleigh's 60th home run ball, a significant marker when Cal joined the ranks of Babe Ruth, Roger Maris, and Aaron Judge to hit that milestone. We talked to Glenn about what happened next, because Glenn gave the ball away to a 12-year-old boy near him in the stands. I'm so grateful that Glenn came to podcast with me, because he didn't do this for the recognition. In fact, the next day, the New York Times published a piece about this act of kindness before anyone tracked down Glenn's name. So we talk about what inspired him to share the ball and the ripple effects of kindness. What's so incredible about this example is that we can see the rewards of giving. In this case, both the receiver, the giver, and everyone around. Glenn tells us about the serendipity of the moment and how the action was more automatic than deliberated. We also discuss the long effect this lesson will have on the next generation, especially Marcus, the boy that Glenn handed the ball to, as well as his own son. This is a fantastically inspiring example of how and why we share. I know you'll love it. Hi, Glenn.
Hey, Wynne.
I'm so glad to be able to talk with you. You recently scored a huge hit at a Mariners game for giving the ball away. Can you tell that story of that September Wednesday night game?
Do you want the short version or a longer
I
version
want
with
the longer
details?
version.
Okay. There were a lot of things that went into having that moment occur because it was scheduled that I was going to go to the game with some coworkers. So I don't know, we had six or so tickets to make it there. Actually, for my job, I was out of town, so I was rushing back at the end trying to get to the game, and so there was bad traffic. By the time I got there, it just didn't work out that well logistically. I was running late, and then my coworkers had already left to go to the game, and then it was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to try to find parking near the stadium. And so there were enough things going on that I was seriously thinking about just not going to the game just because like, oh, I need to find parking, I need to go pick up a ticket and just stand in these long lines. So for a moment, or for a bit, I was just like, it could just be easier to go home than try to
Right,
with
right.
all
You're on
this.
the fence.
So then,
Yeah.
anyhow, yeah, eventually, after wading through long lines and getting in, I think I got there in like the third or fourth inning.
Mm.
So I missed a chunk of the game. Eventually, yeah, made contact with my coworkers and found them, and so it was a fun game. I had missed several home runs earlier in the
Mm.
game, so the Mariners were already up, and it was the division. Well, if they won that, then they were clinching the first place in the division for was it the first time in 21 or since
Yeah.
2001, so 24 years.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal, and
Right.
the stadium, everyone was really amped up just because the Mariners were winning. So it was just a fun atmosphere to be in.
Yeah.
Cal hit number 59 earlier in the game, and so everyone knew, oh, they could, he could hit 60, and it, well, it just never occurred to me that, it would
Right.
actually, he would hit it, and that I'd be the person that ended up snagging the ball. But
Yeah.
when that happened, yeah, so.
So
Uh,
tell me, you were in, I think I read section 108, which
That's right.
is
Yeah. So that's in the right field
right field. Okay.
bleacher. Well, I guess not bleachers, but yeah, like so it was close in. I've been to quite a few Mariners games, but never in one of those sections where you actually had a chance of catching a home run
Right.
ball. Most of the time I was, it'd be up in the third level where you're kind of nosebleeds or
Yeah.
other, you know, tickets where, well, it wasn't even an option or you
Yeah.
like there's no way you'd catch a home run ball. So it was fun sitting there and Well, my coworker who bought the tickets, like he specifically was looking at it and trying to figure out where would be the best place. So
Oh,
he
there's
did
some
put some thought
there
into
was
it.
some strategy
Yeah,
there.
I hadn't put any thought into it. It was more just, sure, that sounds fun.
Right,
I'll go to the
right.
game. Um,
And did you have a glove with you?
no, I didn't. I actually had one in the car, but then it was, well, running late
Mm-hmm.
and just like I left that in the car. But I guess when the ball was hit, so it actually, some other people in the stands, like they were filming video, and so they, forwarded them to me after it all. But yeah, it bounced off like three or so people's hands before it came to me. So it's just ricocheting around. It was really more reflexes. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like this thing's coming and let me get prepared. I need to catch this. It was really
Right.
just sort of shooting your arm out and happening to be the lucky guy that grabbed it.
Yeah. Yeah. From what I've read, it was like so you grab it and then it was only about 15 or 20 seconds before you handed it off to a 12-year-old boy sitting near you.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. It was, yeah, 15, 30 seconds. I had it and it was exciting. And well, and I also have a 10-year-old and 14-year-old of my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so since I was there at the game with, coworkers, I wasn't with my kids, but just sort of like maybe the whole serendipity of it all, or like
Mm-hmm.
this even happened. Like we're there
Mm-hmm.
with my own kids. I would not have given it to a stranger in front of me.
Right.
But at the same time, I think by being a parent or having someone that looked, same age as my kids, well, I guess backing up. So yeah, I caught it, I grabbed it. It was exciting. It was just kind of a weird moment. You're like, wow, this really happened. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it's not that I went into the ballpark with plans like, oh, I'm going to do all this stuff if I catch that
Right.
ball.
Right.
So it really was just, yeah, spur of the
Right.
moment. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had it, I saw a kid, and it was like, oh, this is nice. This is a special moment, but pass it along, or I guess,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just share it with others, or but I guess it's kind of cliche, but just sort of like this is the right thing to do. Or it's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna do it,
Mm-hmm.
even though, for a split second, it's like, oh, I kind of like this, but it was like, no, this is what I should do. So
Right.
I
Right.
handed it off, and that's how it worked.
Well, and it's funny because basically you're saying that you were sort of set up for it, like in that your values or beliefs or conditioning or whatever it is that the feeling of serendipity is sort of it was an automatic reaction more than it was a thought out reaction.
Yeah, but definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
everything was just going so fast. Like it was just automatic, or it
Yeah.
wasn't. There was a lot of thought involved, and I guess it's probably better that way because you can definitely guess yourself or
Right.
overthink. So yeah, it worked
Right.
out. So.
Yeah. And so you give it to a 12-year-old boy named Marcus, who seems like a delightful character. Had you interacted with him at all before this moment?
No, I hadn't seen him, or I think, I believe it was his family. Maybe there were also some friends, but there was, a long row of them. And I think he was sitting several seats down, maybe with his mom, and I
Mm-hmm.
was closer to the side where his dad was. And having had an interview with Marcus and read some of their accounting of the story, I think he came down to give me a high five. And yeah, so I'd never seen him, and I guess I looked down. It was just like, oh, this looks like, one of similar aged kid to my kids, are like
Right.
have helped with soccer coaching. So just, a kid that you've
Yeah.
worked with before. So yeah, I guess it
Yeah.
just seems like the good thing to hand it off or pass
Right.
on the kindness.
And it wasn't like he was expecting it. He was just trying to congratulate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because I think the quote that I saw from you is that you were looking at him and you just thought, he deserves it more than me,
Yeah.
like that. Mm.
Again, it was just all sort of split seconds, or just
Yeah.
like this is what I should do.
Right.
So I guess in hindsight, it's definitely made a difference in his life. Stepping back from it all, I guess it's cool that, there was a big media response. Not that I'm really one that
Hmm.
it was overwhelming for me, or I wasn't necessarily chasing that, but I guess just having a good story, or having, an example that is being broadcast, or, that there are the people that do care about that. People, well, amplifying stories of like, oh, you can do a good thing and that
Yeah.
can lead to recognition versus all sorts of other things that
Yeah.
people do, and they do gain fame or notoriety for it. But it's
Right.
nice to be associated with one that's actually like, oh, I'm actually proud of what I did versus,
Right.
trying to own someone or show how much better you are than them, or
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think this happened right around the time of the Phillies game one, where a woman demanded a father hand a ball over, and so you were kind of called the opposite of that
Yeah.
reaction. But what I love about it is, had you kept it, you caught it, kept it, likely would have probably given it to the Mariners or given it back to Cal and, gotten a bat. But it probably would have ended there. But in this case, you gave it to Marcus. Marcus got to meet Cal, right? And then you didn't do it for the notoriety. So I think the first time that I saw it was in a New York Times article, and they had to update the article when they actually figured out what your name was because they didn't know who it was, and you hadn't done it for that reason. So the Mariners invited you back. You got to come with your boys and your wife. You got to go to a game, meet, and everybody got to meet Cal. Like I imagine in the first scenario, your boys
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have gotten that chance, right? And
Yeah.
then all this inspirational story that comes out. And what I love about that is that ripple of kindness is just more visible. Like we do things, you know, hand a bottle of water to somebody, and we never get to see what the ripple effect is. But yours is just a little more visible.
Yeah, yeah, and it was nice. Maybe the highlight, or at least personally, well, just that I was able to share it and, give the experience to my family. Or we're not going to get front row seats right next to the dugout ever again. So, having, well, and just that, yeah, we were, well, yes, minor celebrities there, just like the
Yeah.
kids getting to take part in that, or we'll get to meet Cal, or then just, yeah, random people that were coming up in the ballpark, like, hey, were you the guy that gave that ball? Good job, well done, or just,
Yeah.
or stand in line for the bathroom with my youngest son. There were some guys behind us that were like
Yeah.
looking at their phone and like, "Are you guys?" So I think the Mariners had like posted pictures of like
Hmm.
pregame when we were, met Cal, and they're like, "Is this you guys?" And we were like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Oh man, that's awesome." And so yeah, my son was impressed or sort of surprised, like we were even recognized when we were going to the bathroom. So anyhow,
Well, I swear, this has a bigger effect on your two sons. They're what, 10 and 14, is that
yeah.
right? And I'm sure Marcus, than had it happened any other way, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because yeah, it's just kind of spreading it around, giving well,
Yeah,
people experiences, and yeah,
right.
it's
And talk about a way to teach your kids values by living
yeah,
them, right?
yeah. I guess it's one instance where well, you can do a good thing, but there really is like obvious that good things came back to you. So I mean, it does
Right?
like kind of the perfect, or probably yeah, it would be one of the more direct or clear lessons. Not that I was trying to teach
Yeah.
any sort of
Nope.
lesson, but it's just a very easy thing to point to and seeing like the response or the reaction that came from it. So yeah, I
Right.
guess that's lucky in that respect too.
Yeah, I think like, and you've used the word serendipity as we've talked. I think there's that you might not have even been there, but in that moment you were there, and you did that. Marcus's dad has a great quote. What with the world that's going on now, it's a lot of turbulence. To know that good things can happen and something like this could uplift people is cool, and cool to share this to make people feel better. I mean, that's a pretty good outtake of it,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've had neighbors or other friends just saying that, yeah, the country's been waiting for something like this. And just, yeah, having, even
right?
though all it is like, I just gave a baseball to a kid. So it's kind of like, should that even be newsworthy? But I guess in this day and age,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was. So,
Well, I suspect that it's that a lot of the news isn't good, so we
yeah.
just are a little bit hungry for this, right? Do you have an example of somebody doing something, giving generously to you that do you think helped shape your worldview?
Um, Well, not an example like this one. Oh, just random act of kindness where it's
Yeah,
like, oh wow, that was sort of a big deal. But I
yeah,
mean, I suppose just growing up or family values or
hmm,
being, given things by my family, I suppose. But
yeah,
yeah, not like one crystallized moment. Like no, nothing like that.
yeah. I think, and I think it's same for me. I couldn't think of a big example either. But if, thinking about how I was raised, I mean, the everyday values that grounded you, that prepare you for those, I suppose, how you're going to react in a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love I love Marcus's quote. So, Marcus, the 12-year-old that you gave the ball to, he was talking about being popular in middle school. And he says, it feels kind of good, he said, of the sudden popularity boost. But I think the guy who gave me the ball, he should be like 2 times more famous than me, or maybe even like 3 times, because he was really nice.
Yeah.
That's,
Good for him.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice. That's sweet. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess maybe at this stage in life, I'm not as much like, oh, popularity contest or that type
No,
of thing.
that's true.
But yeah, anyhow, yeah, like
Yeah.
that's
Well, I
so
think that's his way. For me, when I read that, it was his middle school way
yeah, exactly.
of recognizing it because based on what's, big in his world.
Yeah.
Have you gone to any Mariners games since?
So there was the
Yeah.
night that I caught it, then the family and I went to the next one, or the Mariners gave us tickets. But there were only, I guess, what, 3 games left in the season after that.
Mhm.
So no, or we haven't been to any playoff games. So anyhow, we've been more engaged, or definitely, yeah, watching them at home and cheering them
Right.
on.
Right.
But
Were you a ball player when you were growing up?
no, I guess through the baseball with my dad and would bat, and I guess both with my dad and brother. So we'd play catch, but no, I never played little league.
Yeah. Yeah. And your boys, are they baseball fans?
Um, Not huge. Actually, my youngest, he does want to go out and yeah. For last night, he was wanting to go out and do batting practice, and it was like, I don't know, 6 and getting dark and rainy. So I think we're actually going to go do that later today. But
Yeah.
he's more into soccer, so it's yeah. He has some interest, but no,
Right.
they haven't been on teams or anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're more interested now. When my son who's 6 likes to hit in our backyard, we don't have a very big backyard, so we call them neighbors instead of homers because that's when we get to go see the neighbors when we hit it
Ah,
over the fence.
I see.
It's a whole nother level of connection.
Yeah,
I think it was Aesop that said, "No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted." And I love your example of one that's really visible. And even this conversation, you're kind enough to have it with me. It's not wasted. It really is having a great effect, and grateful for that.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, sir. It's good that it's passing it forward or hopefully
Paying
inspiring
it
other
forward.
people. to-
I think you have. So it's a great thing to share the ball. So thank
Yeah,
you so much, Glenn.
yeah.
Thank you for listening. Our music was written for us by the incredible duo of Jack Canfora and Rob Koenig. For show notes and more great inspiration, see avitiva.com, AVITIVA.com.